Hello everyone and welcome to this audio podcast. This audio podcast is part of the lab coat. This audio podcast is part of a bolder project. This audio podcast is part of a Lab N Ostix and Dino, and this audio podcast as part of the Click, and this audio podcast is part of a ZtormLabostix Production. Through this audio podcast, looking at a summary of published works around 2020, works by Mohammed in 2020. Healthcare scientists in primary care, a systematic review, and in around the summary. So a systematic review had been carried out in around spanning a duration of in around where literature where literature had been investigated around over an 18 year duration, and at the same time a critical appraisal skills program, or CASP, software or toolkit was utilized to appraise sort of publications. Appraise publications or literature. So from in around just over 1,650 publications identified through several databases, 1,634, 1,630 30 plus publications or literature have been removed, and 80 papers or publication were then further scrutinized after taking out sort of duplicates for integrity and relevance according to inclusion criteria and exclusion criteria according to in addition to main terminologies, literature was investigated for the relevance, and according to healthcare professionals, healthcare scientists, diagnostics and screening, and primary care. 16 publications were further excluded, and 20 just over 20 full text articles were then further appraised for eligibility, and two further publications were then were excluded, and the remaining 21 publications were included as part of the overall systematic review, and five themes then were identified, or 5 themes were derived and sort of identified. So one of the sort of take home messages or take home sort of notes from the publication was that there is a need to review on the sort of current healthcare workforce in the United Kingdom, and consideration for healthcare professionals, different healthcare professionals, allied healthcare professionals, and healthcare scientists, for example, being available for CKD patients or recipients in amongst primary care settings. That draws this audio podcast to a close. This audio podcast is part of the lab coat. This audio podcast is part of a bolder project. This audio podcast as part of a Lab N Ostix and Dino. This audio podcast is part of the Click. This audio podcast as part of a ZtormLabostix production.